So I wanted to start with a little bit of background, what we were facing, why we decided to pursue this program. So historically, we had been able to differentiate pay between our phone and non-phone roles. Our organization made a great decision a couple years back to increase the minimum living wage to $15 an hour, which was outstanding for the employees, but then we kind of ran into some challenges with differentiating that pay. So we still consider phone work a differentiated skill set that should be compensated higher than non-phone work. So we brought a few proposals to our leadership team. They challenged us to figure out a way to focus on this as a performance-based play, not just a differentiated base pay. So, we, like many other companies, our primary objective is to continue to drive operational excellence, and we felt this program would help in the spirit of that. And as we were designing and implementing this new compensation structure, we wanted to obviously be sure that it aligned with our strategic priorities and our compensation philosophy. We wanted to motivate and drive higher performance from our production staff, both the frontline staff and their supervisors, and then we wanted to align to industry practices, and we wanted to provide competitive compensation levels to be able to attract and retain top talent. So some of the highlights I'd like to go over on this slide. We historically have had an annual performance annual performance incentive plan that would typically pay out in March for the full year. There was very little differentiation between someone ranked a 5, which is kind of the top rating, versus a 1 or a 2. It's predominantly driven based on corporate goals, membership, net gain, income, etc. So we switched from that to this quarterly incentive program, and we're planning to roll this out to differentiate pay, as I mentioned before. We use the funding from the traditional API program at the target level. So we have threshold, target, it's kind of the 100% payout. Threshold would be below that. Stretch and excellent would be above the 100% payout. So we funded this based on that and rolled it into the quarterly structure. So the employees in this program are compensated. I'll get into some of the details on both individual performance relative to their peers and then also an overall departmental performance goal. We came to an agreement that we'd set these individual goals on an annual basis, and then the departmental goals could vary quarterly. For the supervisors, we essentially said we structured it in a way that they are held accountable to their individual's team performance for the same goals, and then their departmental performance is the same as well. And then in the event that we do perform higher than target, there'll be kind of a corporate kicker at the end, so they can still share within the company's success, but the majority of their incentive will be based on their own individual performance. So this slide here, I'll kind of step through the structure of the non-exempt employees on the plan. So you'll notice that we landed on, for the non-exempt, 80% of the payout would be focused on their individual performance, 20% on the departmental performance. And as an overall group, we landed on focusing on 2 to 3 metrics per vertical on the individual performance and 1 single metric on the departmental performance. So for my particular space in member service, we elevated some of the more traditional performance goals, and we focused in on first call resolution and quality assurance as the individual goals, and then at the departmental goal, the overall customer effort score was the departmental goal. And then you can see in the performance tables kind of how the percentages shake out. So top 10%, next 20, next 40, bottom 20 and 10, and then the potential associated with each of those. So your top performers could earn 2 times that of someone kind of in that middle tier. And then similarly on the right side, based on that customer effort or that departmental performance, there's the scale that pays all the way up to 150%. So in this example, kind of following the math at the bottom of the slide, we take eligible earnings, so essentially any earnings that you have for that quarter, inclusive of overtime, and then you multiply by, in this example, the person fell into that second tier, so 130% of the payout, to come up with the $481.05, plus the departmental performance. In this case, we said they came in at threshold, $46.26, totaled out to the $527.31 for this particular example for the non-exempt employees.
Mark,
and then on the
Mark, how did you guys determine what was the the right breakdown of the percent allocation for the employee and the department incentive, where you had 80% for individual and 20% for team?
Yeah, so we had a kind of a cross section of my peers from different verticals within our service delivery operations team, and we partnered with our HR team and our compensation team. We talked a lot about where to strike the balance between individual performance and kind of this team or departmental goal. So for the frontline employees, we settled in on the 80-20. So we wanted to balance that with still promoting best practice sharing and sharing in some of the success. So there's still that team component to it. So they're not sort of hoarding best practices. And then at the supervisor level, which you'll see on this slide, we actually weighted it a little bit heavier for the departmental performance, and we landed in on a 70-30 split for the supervisors.
Okay. Mark, there was one quick question from one of the attendees. They wanted to understand what SDO means.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's our broader organization, service delivery operations. So we've got about 10,000 folks within our service delivery operations area, internal to HCSC, and then we have about 6,000 to 7,000 supplier partners that we contract with as well.
Okay.
So I'll quickly step through the supervisor structure. Again, it's similar to the slide before in terms of kind of the concept and the payout structure. As I mentioned before, 70-30 on the weighting versus 80-20 for the non-exempt staff. They're focused on the exact same metrics. Again, it's based on their team's performance, and how that ranks will impact their payout. And then we use the exact same departmental goal of customer effort for this. So again, kind of stepping through the eligible earnings times their team's performance plus the departmental performance equals the quarterly incentive payout structure, or payout amount rather.